Hello, crafty friends. It's Debbie with Make It With Me. Just wanted to hop on real quick today and share a card that I made over the weekend. And I thought I would just try and recreate it. I'm just in love with this new stamp set. It's called Art Gallery. And there are no dies with this, but the fussy cutting is really quite easy. So I'm going to be recreating this card. I'm going to change it up a little bit. I'm not going to do the same color, and I'll be using a different ribbon here. But this is a really simple card layout that I saw on YouTube, and I really wish I could remember what site, whose channel I was on. I believe it was Julie Davidson. She's a very well-known YouTuber and does a lot with Stampin' Up! Products. So I just wanted to share that and show you how I made this card because I think it came out really pretty. And I'm catching up on my birthday cards. So let's go ahead and get started. Oh, and also I always decorate my envelopes. Everybody who knows me knows that. So I'm going to lay that aside. Going to use the Art Gallery stamp set, and we will be using these images. This is my bottom layer and my top layer for the larger flower, and then I'll be using this, and I'm going to be doing a little masking. I've been wanting to do that for a while, so I'll be using the leaves and then this little one right here and the happy birthday. So let's get started. I've already got my stamps chosen. And today, because I'm going to be doing so much with the masking, I want to make sure that I get everything where it needs to be. So I'm going to be using the Stamparatus. And oh my goodness, you all, I had been using the Tim Holtz one forever and had not gotten the Stamparatus yet. And I, honest to goodness, don't know why I waited so long. This thing, I love that, number one, that it's smaller, so it takes up way less. I'll show you which one I was using. And this is not to disparage any other stamping platform, but look at the size difference there. This thing is huge compared to this one. And plus, it only can go one way because this is for clear stamps. You can flip it over, but you do that, then it becomes for rubber. So it's not a bad platform. You can't get these anymore because there was some kind of a, I don't know all the details, but there was some kind of lawsuit with this platform and the Misty, which is the one most YouTubers use. But I'm going to show you the benefits of this one. Number one, we've got 2 plates to work with. So we've got 4 sides. And we can also, because of the way this is designed, if you're using your photopolymer, you put the foam in. If you're using your red rubber, you just simply take it out, but you still have the 4 sides. And then if you want to move your image down or over, you just simply pull this out, move it down a notch, do your next stamp, move it down a notch, use your next stamp. It's just, I don't know. My goodness, I can't believe I waited so long to get this thing. But anyway, so I'm going to be using the photopolymer stamps. And I'm also going to be using this embossing folder. This is called the Ornate Floral. And that's how I got the little embossed edge on the side of this card here. I don't know if you can see the embossing on that. I hope you can. It's really pretty. And it gives it a little bit of texture. So I've already done the embossing, but I will show you how I got this straight. So this is going to be my colors today. So this is my envelope. I'm going to go ahead and decorate that while we're at it. Oh, and I want to show you something I'm trying. Picked up this little box, little wooden box for $5 at a little store here in town called the Bargain Hunt. And so this is going to be my project box. I'm always getting things. Look at that. I'm already dumping things out. I'm always making a mess on my desk. And so I'm going to try this method. I've got all my supplies here. I'm going to leave it sitting here. And as I use them, I'm going to put them back in that box. And maybe, just maybe, I won't end up with a complete mess on my desk and looking for things and losing them, because if you've seen any of my videos, you know that I do lose things. So, so this is my 8.5. My goodness. Okay, Debbie, talk. This is a standard A2 4¼ by 5½ inch card. And what I did was on the top, I just cut an inch off of the edge. So that's why this is shorter. And it's because I want that embossed edge to show on my card. So all I did was take a standard A2 size card, cut an inch off the top. Then I took my embossing folder and just ran the embossing folder about an inch in. And this is my little trick I'll show you. The Stampin' Up! Embossing folders, this is a 3D embossing folder. It has a little line right here underneath. There's a little thin line, and that's how I lined it up to make sure I got it straight. Now, I just eyeballed this. It could be an inch, maybe a little bit more. I think it's actually maybe a little over, but that's okay because it's still inside the card and it's still pretty. I just kind of eyeballed it. I did not measure it. And so then I'm going to use the crushed curry, and that is going to fit on this piece. And this yellow piece is 5 3/16 by 3 1/16. And to simplify that, let me show you what I did. I mean, I kind of cheat and eyeball things a lot rather because that measuring just stresses me out. I'm just going to grab a sheet of paper and show you what I do. I'll take my scrap or whatever piece I've got, and I just take this. Well, I'm going to flip this. Well, it's the same on both sides, so it'll work. I will just put that on my paper and then take a little pencil and just make a little tick mark here and a little tick mark here. And then that's where I cut it. So a lot of times I don't even measure it, but if you wanted to, that's the size. Same thing with this top white piece. So when we finish our card, it's going to end up like this. And I did the same thing with this, but this is the Whisper White, and that is going to be 5 1/16 by 2 5/8. And I know that's confusing, so I just eyeball it and do it. So, but if I'm going to be teaching a class, I'll make those measurements much easier, but that's just the easy way to do it. So I'll set this aside for a moment. We're going to be working with this piece. So this is where I want to do my stamping. And oh, by the way, the magnets for the Stamparatus are stored right here on the back. Strong, strong magnets. These things are absolutely awesome. So I am going to, what I'm going to do, I'll be stamping the smaller one first. So with masking, you want to make sure that you stamp whatever image you want to show in the front. And so that's what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to get that placed where I want it, get my magnet in place, and then I'll just pick that up with the Stamparatus. Push Debbie. And so now this is where it's going to stamp directly on here. Now I want to make sure, because I'm going to have this bigger flower kind of over that. So I want to make sure I've got enough room because I want this one to kind of overlap. I think I'm going to move it down just a little bit. Down here just a little bit more because my sentiment's going to go over here. And let's see, and let's straighten it up just a little bit. And then that way this one will be up here because I want a little white space so I can do some little drops of some kind. Okay, so the color I'm going to use on this is, and this is going to be, the flowers are going to be crushed curry is going to be my lighter color, and I'm going to use the terracotta tile as my darker color. So, and I'm also going to be using some green. So the first thing I'm going to do is ink this up with the crushed curry. Okay, then I'm going to take a baby wipe and I'm going to wipe off what's right here on this green part. I just want to wipe that off because I want this part to be green. So I'm just going to wipe that off a little bit. And then I am going to use the Granny Apple Green and the Shaded Spruce. And I've got my little ink daubers out here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my dauber and put it in my granny apple green, and I'm just going to ink that up. Let me get all that, the light green. Just ink that up a little bit. And then I will take my shaded spruce, which is my darker green, and have another green for that. Ink that up. And I just want to highlight some darker areas here. I think I'm going to make these a little darker. And to me, those are buds, so they're going to be a little darker. So, and that kind of gives it some, I don't know, just some color variety instead of just a plain green. And I'll do the next thing, that same thing on my other side. So here I go, trying to make sure I put my things in my little project box so I can find them when I need them. So we're going to go ahead and stamp this, and you'll see if I mess up and I don't get a good image, I'm just going to rub that a little bit. My hand, you know I have hand issues, so I'm just going to rub that. And there we go. I think I got a pretty good image. I like it. This is kind of made to look like a watercolor, so the image is not going to be exact lined up. It's meant to look like that. This is my handy dandy little stamp chamois, which you can see is very well loved. I use this thing all the time. I'm going to leave that there so I can show you. So then our next stamp, I'm going to actually, this one is such a simple one. I'm just going to go ahead and use a block for it because all I'm going to do is go 1, 2, 3. So, and that's going to be in the terracotta tile. Now the big stamp we'll use on the Stamparatus, but so I'm just going to line that up right there. Stamp that. How cute. And try to get my head over it without getting like right in your way. There we go. How cute. All right. So I'm finished with that one. Put that back in our little project box. So we're finished with that part. So here is where the masking comes in. So I've got my little mask. You can see I've already used these. So I'm just going to peel this backing off. And I'm going to stick it. Just all I have to really mask is the little flowers. I don't have to do all this because let's see, I'm just going to make sure I get the right size on the right size. And I think that's right. Yeah. And like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect because these are going to blend together so well anyway. And this masking, I just use the Avery label paper, removable label paper. I don't have fancy schmancy masking paper, and it's pretty cheap at any office supply place. And what this mask is going to do, and I really probably didn't even need to do this one except for the greenery, because on this one we're going to do the tall one here. Okay, but this is where I'm going to show you the beauty of it. So if I wanted to make this card in duplicate and mass produce it, I can leave that one there. I've got my masks on, and so I'm going to now try to line this one kind of up like this. And what I want to do is have my larger flower like this, but I want these smaller ones to show in the front and make it look like the larger one is behind it. So I'm going to kind of line that up. Doesn't really matter if it meets because my sentiment's going down here and it's going to cover up those little stems anyway. So this one I'll pick up with my top piece here. Okay. So I'm going to pick that one up. My card is still in the same place with my magnet. And now I'm going to do the same thing with this green piece. There's my magnet. So I'm going to get my green back out and my little daubers. Actually, I think I'm going to just use my granny apple green because I don't have to worry about flowers on this one. So there's my granny apple green. And then I will take my shaded spruce and my dauber and give that a little bit of color texture like I did the other one. So I'm just going to kind of dab over here and there. Hope this is making sense to you all. See how it's going to be a little darker over there, and I'm off camera a little bit, aren't I? But you can kind of see where the light and the dark are. Okay, so I'm finished with my greens. Drop those back in my project box. Doing good with this, you all. I'm gonna close up my terracotta, even though I'm getting ready to use that. Okay, so now I've got my mask there, which means that I'm not going to stamp where I don't want to stamp. So that's how it's going to look. And give it a little rub with my little microfiber towel. See how it looks. See, it looks kind of funky right now, right? It does. It's going to look like that. Okay, so let's clean this one off. We don't want to get ink where we don't want it. Just rub that off. And I'm just going to leave it right there on that glass, because this is what the beauty of the Stamparatus. Because if I want to make this card again, I can just get right to it. Okay, so now I am going to take I'm going to flip this around. I'm going to leave that one on there. It's on the back side. And I'm going to put this bottom layer right where I want it to fit right over that stem. I do have the right piece. Yes, I do. Okay, so then I'm just going to pick that up with my Stamparatus. And that one is going to get stamped in the crushed curry, because that's going to be my lighter base color. This is such a pretty color. I love this. You can do so much with this color. Lay that there. And let's see if I got that right. I think it looks right. Whoops. I know it looks orange because that stamp is stained. I've used it so much. But it's not going to be that orange. Trust me. Yep, and see, I didn't get a good image, so I must not have inked it up very well. Let me move that. Maybe I had that too far. Let's do that again. It's just the beauty of a stamping platform. Just didn't get that one side good, I think. Okay, there we go. Okay, so that one's done. Let's clean that one off. Sure we don't get ink where we don't want it, because who does that? Me, all the time. Okay, so we're finished with the crushed curry. And then my top layer is going to be this terracotta tile. So I'm going to take this piece off, lifts right out, flip it around. And then this is my accent piece. Now this one is a little bit more difficult for me for some reason, because I always, especially with that mask on there, I think that's it right there. Yep. It's hard to see that one little piece. There we go. I think that's it. Let's go up a little bit. Right there. Yeah. Okay. So then we'll take that piece up with this side of our platform. And I'll ink that up with the terracotta tile. Oh, this is such a pretty color. I love it. Flip that over. Give it a little red. I gotta get rid of these notes. So far, you guys, my desk is still pretty clean. How cool is that? Okay, there we go. It looks like a hot mess right now, doesn't it? Here comes the magic of masking. I think masking is so fun. All right, close your ink. My hands. I've been painting our pantry and utility area this week because we had a little washer and dryer mishap. And so we thought while we had it empty, waiting on the washer and dryer to get here, which is coming tomorrow, we thought we would do a little bit of home improvement and paint in there. And oh my goodness, we didn't need it. We didn't realize how much. Okay, so I'm gonna take my little take your pick tool, and I'm just gonna kind of get this started. See, this is my little mask. Let's get that up under there. Just enough where I can peel it off. And then I'll set that aside. Where'd my little tray go? I'm going to put all those back in there because I can use those masks one more time, I think. Those are pretty good about not going through the ink. I'll just stick them back on the little backing and use them again. And look, how cute is that? So see, you get this 3D look. So I've got my my bigger flower in the back and my smaller one. And I just think it's so cute. Okay, so we're done with that piece. So, and if I want to do that again, I'm just going to leave all this right here in the Stamparatus. And if I want to duplicate that card and make it again, we'll do that. So I'm just going to kind of lay this aside. And let's put our card together. Okay, the other things I'm going to be using in this card, I'm going to put that back in my project box. Be using a few of these. I thought those little orangey peachy colored dots would look cute on this one. And I'm going to be using the happy birthday sentiment from the set. And I'm going to clean this off before I end up getting ink all over something. This was the little stamp we used for this part. And instead of ribbon, I'm going to use just some of this jute. Thought it was really cute. I've already got my little bow made that's going to go on here. And then I used scraps. This is going to be what my sentiment's going to go on. And we're going to kind of banner that. It's going to be real cute. This was the, I made a card yesterday with this background. And I don't know what I did with it. I'll show it to you. But anyway, this was the reverse side of it. And I thought, oh, that's so pretty. It matches. That's that crushed curry. So save your scraps. Save them, save them. I'm going to leave that out because we're going to need that again. So what we're going to do is work on this piece first. So the first thing we'll do is glue these together. So I'm going to glue my white piece to my yellow piece. You know what I think I forgot to do? I think I forgot to put my sentiment out that I'm going to use in this card. I'll show y'all a little trick I do with my glue. This is a shot glass, or no, it's not. This is it had a little votive, it had a candle in it that I burned up, and I just stick a baby wipe in there and stick my glue down in it, so I don't have to keep pulling the lid off and on. And it keeps my glue from drying up while I'm not using it. But if I'm going to be having it out a lot, so I'm just going to center that, and look at that. I got a little bit of ink right there. I don't think it's going to matter because there's going to be a ribbon here and a sentiment here, but I've got this handy dandy little eraser, and sometimes when you get a little smudge, that eraser will just pull it right out. Yeah, pretty much got it. Barely a hint left. Check my fingers. See, that's how I did it. I'm just going to take my stamp shimmy and clean my fingers off. I just did my nails, so of course I would get ink all over my fingers. Okay, how pretty is that? Isn't that pretty? Okay, now before we adhere this, we are going to, there we go. We're going to take a little bit of ribbon. No, you know what? Yeah, let's go ahead and take our jute. All right, so I'm going to use my tape runner. And let's see, it's going to go this way. So I'm going to put just a little bit of glue tape on the back side of this. Just a little bit here on the end and a little bit here. And what I'm going to do is take my jute, start right there. And I hadn't decided yet because I didn't really do this yet. I hadn't decided if I wanted one row or two, and I think I'm going to do two. What do y'all think? Yep, I think I'm going to do two. All right, so let me just trim that off. Stick it right there. And that should hold because it's going to get a lot more glue. I think I might go ahead and throw, just for good measure, a little glue dot in the middle of that, just to be safe. stick a piece right there. That way I know for sure that that's not going to come loose. Okay. So now this is ready to adhere to our card. Okay. And I thought about popping it up, but I think it's already going to have enough dimension. You know what? I think I'm going to actually go ahead and add another glue dot under this too. What do you think? I'm going to put one there and put one there. And then that way I know my ribbon will stay good and tight on there. All right, so that goes back in the project box. So it's time to attach our card. So we're going to go ahead and just put some glue on that. Get plenty of glue on this. It's good and thick. I'm even going to add some to that jute just to make sure it sticks down really good. Spread this out. And then I'm just going to center that right here. Give that a good little press. Okay, now it's time to stamp our little sentiment. So I'm going to use this little happy birthday that came in the stamp set. And I really, really, really want to use a different sentiment. Yep, I'm going to use the sentiment on the inside from this set. That's this Happy Thoughts. I'm in love with this. I've used it so much. The Happy Birthday was bigger than what I wanted, but I want to put this. Just wanted to send some happy thoughts your way. So that's what I'm going to put on the inside. All right, so let's, I'm going to use my, I want it to be really crisp and black. So I'm going to use my Versifine. And I don't get this straight. I'm going to do it to one side a little bit because I want to banner the end of this like we did on the other card. And let's see, let's go about right there. Okay, it goes back in the project box. I'm going to let that dry a little bit. And then I'm going to take my scissors and just band. Let me make sure that's the right size before I do that. Yeah. So I'm going to banner the end of that. So I cut in the middle and then go in from the corner. There. Here. This video's ended up being a little longer than I intended it to be. Okay. I'm just going to take my tape runner. I'll tape on that and I'm going to glue that right onto this little strip. I think I'm going to turn it this way just so I can get it good. Well, I think I want a little bit of that to show. Let's just do it this way. And then this strip's a little bit longer, but I knew that. There we go. So then I'll just trim the end off that a little bit. Come in same way I did on the other one. There we go. And there's our little banner. And we're going to pop that up with some dimensionals, which I forgot to get out, but I have them right here handy always. So we're going to go ahead and put that on. Pop a few of those on there. I know I always use way too many, but you know what? They're pretty cheap. So don't. And plus, in our paper pumpkin, we get a set of these every month in our paper pumpkin. So I don't know. It's going to be forever before I need any dimensionals. Okay, so I'm going to cover up. See my little boo-boo that's still showing there just a little bit? I'm going to make sure I come up just enough to cover that up and get that straight. There's my little banner. And then I had this little bow, and I think I'm going to put it right there. Yep. So let's get our glue dots back out. And let's put a little glue dot right there. I may use 2 glue dots. That string's a little bit thick. Stick one up under here. Now I'll just get my little white thing off there. There it is. I get it. Okay. And then I'm just going to stick my little bow right here. I say stick it. I'm so not a YouTuber. I'm supposed to say adhere it, but I said stick it. So, all right. So I intentionally left those long because I didn't know how long I was going to want to let them be. So I'm going to trim those off. There we go. Isn't that cute? I think it's so pretty. I wish you could see that embossing a little bit more. I don't know if you can or not, but it's so pretty. And then I am going to take these some of this color. I think that'll be pretty, and it'll contrast that yellow. And I'm going to use these little enamel dots and just randomly place a few of those here and there. And rule of thumb on that is to always use an odd number. That's what I've heard. So I'm going to put one there. Right here. See, I've got a large one. Let's do a medium one. Let's go up here. I think I'm going to just maybe put one more little one up there. And then maybe one down here. Right under the happy birthday. I think that'll be plenty. What do you think? Isn't that cute? So now I want to use this sentiment. And you know, I always decorate envelopes and my, so I'm going to put that right there. See, I've still got plenty of room to write. So let me grab the Stampin' block. So I'm going to do that. Again, I'm going to do this in the Versify. Love this first time. Oop, I almost didn't get it stamped up. That's good. Okay, so I'm going to just put this kind of in the center. And normally, I will do the little flower on the inside, but I should have already done that. And so since I've already put all this on, I'm not going to do that. This is our finished project. I'll take a nice photo of that. Who wouldn't love to get that card in the mail? Isn't that cute? I'll take a nice photo of it so you can see it, but I just think it turned out so pretty. I'm really happy with it. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I hope that you'll come back. And we have a virtual crop happening on the 27th and the 28th of this month, and I'm going to be giving away lots of prizes. It's in collaboration with another Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Her name is Val, and she's with Val's Art Lounge, and she lives in Florida. She and I are co-hosting. We're going to be giving away prizes all weekend, doing a lot of demos, and just a little sneak peek. I am going to be using this stamp set. This is, oh, got it upside down. This is Blossoms in Bloom. You can do so many things with this stamp set. It is so simple. It's one stamp as far as the flowers. The rest of it's all die cuts. This is what the size it is, full size. This is an A2 size card, but I've also got some ideas and cut them in half. And I did this one. I did this one. I turned one sideways. And I did this one. Look at these. I did all these with this one die and a little bit of paper and a little bit of ink. It's awesome. So join us for that. If you want the link, It's going to be on Zoom, so it'll all be live and we'll interact with each other. We'll craft. There'll be a lot of free time that you can craft and work on whatever you want to. I'm going to post some links in case anybody wants to make these along with us. There's still time to order those and make it along with us. So I hope you'll think about joining us for that. And I hope to see you back soon. Thanks so much for joining me, and I hope you'll come back. Have a wonderful, blessed weekend.